This is
So,
for Linux administration, basics of Linux administration. So in Windows, you are doing so many things using your mouse graphical tools. In Linux also, you can use graphical tools. Uh, but what you can see, observe is nowadays systems, all the systems, so even Windows is going for command line. And see, first thing first, did CCNA, is CCNA complete for you? So CCNA, you attended, completed CCNA also, correct? Hello guys. Hello guys.
No, sir. No, sir.
no, sir.
What? Okay, network. So in CCNA also, you are going to learn, do everything using command line only. So can you do use mouse? Yes, I can. We can use mouse for administering Linux, but some of the features you must go through command line only. So I will show you both command line and graphical user interface. That's not a problem. So before that, see, yeah, I want to tell you one thing. See, this is a 6-day class. So we today we have started, and Saturday we have to finish this, and we have 1.5 hours every day. So totally we have 6 hours, 6 into 3. Okay, seven, roughly 8 hours for completing these topics, all these topics. So don't be absent. Come early, and every day study at least 45 minutes. Read your notes and everything. Okay, so I'm not wasting any more time, so we need to start immediately. So, so you have studied Windows. So, what is an operating system? So, the basics. So, did you take the screenshot? These are the topics we are going to cover. Hello, did you take the screenshots? Hello, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes.
so what is Linux? Linux is an operating system, just like your Windows operating system. So, what is an operating system? That is the first thing you must understand here. So operating system is a software basically. So in a computer, you have two types of two components. So in a computer, basically you have uh, hardware components and software components. So hardware components are physical components, means you can touch it. Software components are known as logical components. You cannot touch it basically. So important hardware components are your input unit, processing unit, and output unit. So input unit like keyboard and mouse, processing unit your CPU, RAM, motherboard, has hard disk, everything. Output unit your display,
Monitor, printer.
printer. Yes, these are output. Software components. So there are two types of softwares basically: application software and system software. So what is an application software? Application software is a software that will do or perform one particular function. For example, MS Office is an application software and its function is to edit texts in an advanced way. See, Notepad will also edit text, but MS Office is an application software used for text manipulation. So what is system software? System softwares are used to manage your computer hardware basically and other application softwares. So application softwares run on system software. Please mute yourself. No. Now see here there are two types of system softwares. One is utility software, another one is operating system. What is a utility software? Utility software is a system software that will do one function. That's it. For example, in Windows, you have a utility software called disk cleaner. Okay, for example, if you right click this D drive, go to properties, disk cleaner. This is a system utility and it will do one function: delete unwanted files from your system. That's it. But operating system is also a system software. It does many functions, including managing the hardware, managing other applications, memory management, disk management, network management, input output management. So many functions are included in operating system. So what is an operating system? Operating system is a link between computer user and computer hardware. The users cannot directly interact with computer hardware. So it acts as an interface or a layer between computer hardware and other applications. So user will never interact directly with the computer hardware. User will run applications on operating systems. This operating system can interact with the hardware. Okay, forget about this one, that you will understand later. Okay, so now what are the features of this Linux? So Linux is an operating system. Windows operating systems, they also have many features. We are going to concentrate on Linux operating system features. So first feature, multi-user operating. So Linux is a multi-user operating system. What do you mean by that? So in a single system, multiple users, user 1, user 2 can log in and they can run applications here. Multiple users, more than one user can log into the system and run applications. See, Windows 10 is not a multi-user operating system. It is a single user operating system. That means only one user can log in here. Since here in this Windows system, I am the only one user who has logged in here and running applications. So single user operating system. So Windows servers like Windows Server 2012, 2016, these are multi-user operating systems. So if you remember, you configured Active Directory, correct, in Windows Server, isn't it? Hello guys, you studied Active Directory. In Active
Sir, can you speak a bit louder, sir?
I am speaking louder. You increase the volume in your device. Okay, Bhaskar, please increase the volume in your device.
Okay.
Okay. So so in Windows Server, you can create Active Directory. Many users can log in. Correct, isn't it? Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that server machines, Windows Server machines are server operating systems are multi-user operating systems, but Windows client operating systems are single-user operating systems. But Linux client as well as server operating systems, both are multi-user operating systems. Okay. Next, multitasking. What is multitasking? See, in a Linux system, you can run at the many applications at the same time. See, Windows 10 is also multitasking. See, you can run MS Paint, you can run Notepad, you can run Windows Media Player. So these are all multiple applications running at the same time. But in Windows, you have command prompt. See, this is single tasking. Means when you execute a command like this, ping google.com. See, when it runs, you can. Oh, what happened? Okay, the spelling mistake. So when this command,
The port and W you used.
so when it runs, you cannot run any other commands, correct? Isn't it? Hello? Only
Yes, sir.
one
Yes,
command
sir.
is running, one program.
Yes, sir.
MS-DOS is a single tasking operating system, but Windows 10 is multitasking. See, MS Office, see, DOS is itself is running here. You can run MS Paint, you can run Mozilla Firefox, Zoom is also running. So multiple tasks, applications are running at the same time. So it is multitasking. Linux, both client and servers are multitasking at the same time. Multiple applications can be run. Multi-platform means here we are talking about the processors supported by Linux operating system. So it can run on Intel processor, AMD processor, Sun Spark processors. So that is another processor from Sun Microsystem, Mac processor from Macintosh, So it will support many different types of processors. Open source means it's code. Linux operating system code is freely available for anyone. Windows is not open source. It is closed source. You can purchase Windows operating system, but they will not give you the source code for Windows operating system. So open source means you can get the source code for Linux operating system and you can modify it also if you want. Scalable means you can run it from very small devices like pocket size PCs, Raspberry Pis, then you can run it in laptop, smartphones, Android, and you can run it in very big servers, etc. Flexible means you can use it for making different types of varieties of devices like system, because you don't have to pay any money to buy it. You can freely download it from, you can use it. You're paying for Windows operating system, laptop or PC. Are you paying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are paying. Its price is included with that PC or laptop. And what is the most widely used operating system?
Windows.
No, not Windows is Linux. And why is that? See, 95% of the users are using Android mobile phones, right? What is Android?
Operating system.
So Android is an operating system. Modified version of Linux kernel, right? See, all the students here who are present here, you are using Android phones, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 95% of the using Android. Android is derived from Linux. It's a modified version of Linux. And Ganesh Biradar. Hello, Ganesh Biradar. Ganesh.
Yes, sir.
Please use this format. Where are you from, Ganesh?
Pune, sir. One minute.
Okay, thank you. So that, it's right. When we did not have smartphones, most widely used operating system was Windows. 90%, 95% of the PCs and laptops were using Windows. But even if you don't have a PC or laptop, you have a smartphone, right? And the smartphone, see, most of the smartphones used by people are using Android operating system. So it is the most widely used operating system. And GNU, what is GNU? GNU stands for GNU is not Unix. So before we had Linux, there was an operating system called Unix. And see, this was not a free operating system. You need to purchase it. Applications were not free. And some people did not like this. So they wanted to offer free operating systems and applications for users. And they formed an organization known as GNU. GNU is not Unix. And they created GNU Unix and GNU applications. And Linux kernel. Kernel is the main part of the operating system. This was developed by Linus Torvalds. And the GNU organization, they used this kernel from Linus Torvalds and they combined it with their utilities. And you have a product called Linux operating system. So that is how Linux operating system was formed. And this GNU softwares are using a kind of licensing called general public license. Means if you have GPL, general public license for a software, anyone can use it, anyone can modify it, anyone can distribute it to anyone else. So take the screenshot for this chapter. Completed? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Done.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So Linux distributions. So in Windows you have versions. So you have Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11 is the latest version because it is only from one company, Microsoft. But in Linux, before you can use this same versions, you must have one term called distribution. So because many companies are making Linux operating system, they call their main Linux operating system as a distribution. So the important ones are Red Hat, which is a company. They make Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Fedora distribution. Then there is a Debian flavors. So you have Red Hat flavors and Debian flavors. So SUSE Linux. So this they will make a distribution first. CentOS, they will make a distribution first. And this main Linux operating system from different companies are called distributions. Then these distributions will have versions. So SUSE Linux version 1, distribution version 1, then version 2, version 3. Understood the difference between distributions and versions? The main Linux
Yes, sir.
operating system from a company is called a distribution. These distributions will have different versions. So for example, RHEL 1. RHEL is the main distribution from Red Hat Corporation. RHEL 1, RHEL 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. And you are going to learn CentOS. So CentOS 7 is the, no, 8 is the latest version. CentOS is the distribution from CentOS organization. So that is what. So take the screenshot. See, these chapters are very small. Only thing is you need to read the chapters. Okay. Please take. Completed. Hello guys, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now Linux architecture. So how Linux operating system is organized? So Linux, in Linux, you will consider everything as a file, even hardware devices, your hard disk and everything is considered as a file. So this is the Linux principle or Unix principle. Now, Linux operating system has 4 main parts. The kernel is the main part of the operating system, utility softwares, desktop environment, and applications. So let us see them one by one. So kernel is the main part of the operating system. So you have computer hardware at the center, and surrounding this you have kernel. Surrounding this you have shell. What is shell? We will see, and the users will interact with the shell, and applications will run here. Okay. Now this is the kernel main part, and it manages the hardware because it can directly talk to the hardware. And this shell has many functions. As far as you people are concerned, you are going to see these 4 main functions: software management, memory management, hardware management, file system management. So software management is mainly concerned about managing processes. So what is a process? A running program is called a process. So let us see this. So open your task manager. It will show you the processes running in your system, right? Can you see MS Office Word here? No, right? It's not here, right? Otherwise,
No, sir.
because see, but still I have MS Office Word here in my system. It is installed. It is in the hard disk. When I click here, I am loading MS Office from the hard disk, and it is running in the memory. Now it is a process, and you can see here, right? So running process is called a process. Understood the difference between process and a program? Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
A program is a file in a hard disk. When you run the program, you will load the program from hard disk to the memory, RAM, Once it is in the RAM, you call it as a process. So managing these processes are done by kernel, like starting, pausing, resuming, terminating. All these functions are done by kernel. Next is memory management. See memory manage. Here there is one sentence. This is the sentence you should by heart. By heart this sentence. So it is memory management is all about virtual memory management. And virtual memory is hard disk space that RAM. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself, please. Okay. Hard disk space uses RAM, random access memory. So in your system, you have 2 GB RAM. Okay, 2 GB RAM. And see, your system operating system is taking 700 MB. So remaining is 1.3 GB. But you can run a 2 GB video file, right? Isn't it? You can play a 2 GB video file in your system, right?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? Hello, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
How
sir.
is it possible?
Yes, sir.
See, this kernel will take a space in your hard disk as, it will consider this space as RAM, just like a virtual machine. What is a virtual machine? Virtual machine is a file that is acting as a real machine. Virtual memory is a file that is acting as a real memory. So some inactive components in the RAM is transferred to this virtual memory, and from the system it will load this running application program or file to the RAM, and it can run in the system. So it is the process of managing virtual memory. In Windows also you have virtual memory, and in Windows you are using a file called page file .sys. This is the memory virtual memory file for Windows operating system. In Linux, it is called swap space. So can you see this virtual memory page file .sys? No. Why? It is a hidden file. So if you want to see that, you have to go to manage and where is it? View option, change folder look, and the file options. Then view, hide protected operating system files.
Show hidden files.
Click that. Now, if you search for page file.sys, you can see it. So searching page file. Okay, let it search there. We will minimize this. Okay, so that is virtual memory management. Next, hardware management. So when you hear about hardware management, the first thing that should come to your mind is a program called device driver. So what is a device driver? Device driver is a software that enables kernel to directly communicate with the hardware. So in Windows also you have device drivers. So if you right click here, go to manage, so manage. And if you go to device manager, you can click on monitors, right click here, go to properties, driver, details. So this is the program used by Windows operating system to interact with this monitor. Otherwise, Windows cannot operate and communicate with this monitor. So understood what is a device driver? The device driver is a program used by the operating system to communicate with the hardware devices. The management of device driver is also done by kernel. So kernel also uses device drivers to manage hardware devices. Next.
Sir, can you repeat the last channels?
Sorry.
Sorry, can you repeat the last line which what you have said? Channel 9. That I understood that you said that operating system uses drivers to interact with the hardware. After that, you said something.
Nothing. That is the last thing I said.
You said it will use some channels. Something you said.
I did not say any channels. I did not say anything about channels.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So file system. So what is a file system? File system is a method used by operating system to interact with the storage of files on the hard disk or storage devices. Like, so you can say it is a mechanism or data structure or program. So how will you manage files, storage? So storing and accessing files from a secondary storage device. So this file system is a program or a data structure used to map your disk space into files. So you are getting all these options here. For example, for this file, right click. When you right click here, you are getting all these options: copy, cut, delete, rename, properties. These are all provided by file systems, where your file is stored, what operations you can do on the files, and when it was created, who created it, permissions, everything. So what is the file system you are using in Windows? The most commonly used file system nowadays on Windows is NTFS, Network File System. Not network, new technology file system. And like this in Linux also, you have many file systems. The native file system in Linux is ext. The latest version is ext4. NFS is a network file system. So this is used for sharing files on the network. So in Windows, you studied how to share files, right, between systems. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
The same way you can share files between systems using NFS. And you can share a file between Windows system and Linux system using Samba file system. That is another file system you have to study in, say, that is available in Linux server machines. Then utilities. What is a utility? What is the difference between a utility and a normal application? Utilities are built-in applications. You don't have to install it. So when you install Windows, so Windows accessories, you have Notepad, MS Paint, Windows Media Player, WordPad. Did you install? Did I install all these applications? Hello.
No, sir.
No, right?
No, sir.
All
No,
these
sir.
applications came built-in
Are
in your
built-in.
smartphone. So in your smartphone also, in Android there are built-in applications, right? Google, right? Google.
Yes, sir.
Contacts, these are all built-in applications. These applications are called utilities. And you can install, see, for example, VMware is an application, third-party application. VLC player is a third-party application. So that is the difference. So let me close this one. Where is this one? I did not find it. It's strange. Okay, let me check it later, but I don't want to expose the files in my system. Now this is the problem. So there are so many files here. Everything is appearing. It's not a good idea. Okay. Anyway, let us continue. Where are we now? What is the
File system. File system. Utility and utilities.
what happened? Okay, let me close this. This is not doing good. Okay, page file dot sys. Okay, hello guys.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
This is the
Yes, sir.
version
Yes,
number.
sir.
virtual memory. See.
So utilities we were discussing about shell. What is a shell? Shell is a program through which user will interact with the system. So there are two types of shells. First one is command line shell, CLI. Another one is called GUI, graphical user interface. See, this desktop is a GUI, and see, CMD is a CLI, because you cannot use mouse here, right? Hello,
Yes,
command
sir.
line only.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes,
But
sir.
Yes, sir.
desktop is another shell. So both of these are shells. In Linux also you have two types of shells, command line as well as GUI. The most common command shells you are using, you have two types. KDE desktop, this is one shell. KDE stands for K desktop environment. Similar to Microsoft Windows desktop shell. So because the start menu is on the lower left corner. Then you have GNU Network Object Model Environment desktop. In this, you will not see a start menu on the lower left corner. You will see the menus on the upper left corner. So we will see that. Don't worry. And we install. So take the notes. Hello guys.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please provide notes from sir beginning, sir.
Right now you take the notes.
Again, sir. Done.
Done, sir.
Done.
Okay, CentOS. So this is the operating system we are going to use for our practicals. CentOS stands for Community Enterprise Linux Operating System. And this is a group of people who has taken Red Hat Linux Enterprise Linux Operating System, and they modified it a little bit, and they have distributed it for free use. The RHEL is not free, completely free, but CentOS is completely free. And the latest version is 8. And so new features in CentOS 8. So there are so many new features. You must concentrate on this one. Network configuration is controlled using nmcli or nmpui command. And see, it has something called container management, Podman. What is a container? When you study cloud computing, you will learn that container. Package servers. So for installing software, you can contact these servers. Cockpit. This is a web console management system. So you can manage your Linux system from a web application, web browser. Display server. So graphic display is called Wayland. So these are firewalls, security, IP tables, Linux kernel. This is the latest version. PHP programming language, Python scripting, Ansible automation, Vim is a text editor, and Scud4 is for proxy server. So I am going to share the latest link for CentOS 8. So I will show you. So this is the link for, sorry. So those who have PC or laptop, you can